Hey everyone, so here is my review for the new game Dragon Age Origins by bioware. I'm going to preface by saying that the game fucking rocks. Here in the character creation, as you can see, you can choose from a few races. There are human, elf, or dwarf. Now each race has different introductions, and so far I've played through the dwarf noble and the elven city. Those are both. The elven one was kind of shorter than the dwarven noble one. The dwarven noble one was a good 3 hours,
Greetings.
I think. And the elven one, which I did on my laptop, was about 2, maybe. So I haven't done the human yet, which I'm going to do. Anyways, as you can see here in the video, that you got all your typical sliders and stuff like that, and you can change your voice and all that. That's not really all that important, and the classes are what's important. You have warrior, you have rogue, or you have mage, and then those can break down into specialties later in the game. For example, with the warrior, that's my dwarf noble's warrior. He can become a champion, a templar, a berserker, or a reaver. You get to actually specialize in 2, one at level 7, one at 14, but I haven't chosen either yet because I want to do champion and reaver, and I haven't found anyone to train me in those yet, but I do have 1 point. Anyways, this game, I'm running it at full graphics, and it runs extremely well. On my laptop, I have to run the graphics on low, but I keep the textures on full blast, and it looks pretty good. No, I'm sorry, I keep the graphics on medium, not low, and it still runs pretty well, but obviously it runs a lot better on my PC. I didn't notice any real frame rate issues while recording, which was quite nice. It's always good to have a game that has a good engine. Before I got the game, I looked at some reviews on IGN and whatnot, and most of them said that the graphics weren't that good. But I personally find the graphics to be very nice. They're smooth, clean. I haven't really noticed any issues bug-wise or graphical error-wise. I mean, I saw a couple little flickering textures, but they're very small and very, very, very few and far between. I've only had the game crash on me once, and I've been playing it for probably logged in about 15 hours into the game so far. And I can easily see there being 10 times that amount of playtime. They've already come out with a patch, actually. I'm not exactly sure what it fixed, but I installed it anyways. And there's some downloadable content that you can get, which is actually pretty cool. But for example, there's one where you basically fight through this castle storyline. That's this whole castle's possessed with demons, and this chick is
it is gone.
Demon. You gotta
How do you do?
Or appease her, whichever way
Greetings.
you go.
Charmed,
that's
I'm
cool,
sure.
Because then afterwards
Greetings.
you get a castle.
Greetings.
And
Well,
there's
that didn't
merchants
work.
there and stuff.
I
And
need
there's
some
a
other
world
attack.
map, but it's just a map. It's you click on the dot in the map, and then you see a little trail across it to go to where you clicked, and there's a chance of a random encounter, which is kind of nice. I actually like the system. I would have preferred an open world, but whatever, you can't be too picky. The game is pretty linear. You can once you get past the beginning outside, after you beat the character intro, then you get into the introduction of the Grey Wardens, and once you beat that, you can pretty much go anywhere on the world map. So it is a little bit open in that sense, but the storyline basically splits into 3 ways where you have to go convince people to join your cause. So you can choose to go whichever way you want. You can go to the dwarves, the humans, or the elves. It doesn't really matter what order. With my warrior, for example, I went back to the dwarf city because I wanted to resolve the hanging issues left over from the dwarf noble introduction. And that's what we're going to cut to, combat of Orzammar, the dwarf city, in that area. So this is Orzammar, the dwarven starting city, and it'll remind you a lot of Ironforge from World of Warcraft, but in my opinion I kind of like the look of this place a little bit more. It's underground, whereas Ironforge really wasn't. So if you've ever played Neverwinter Nights or maybe Knights of the Old Republic, you'll be kind of familiar with the way the combat works in the game. You can pause it at any time to issue commands to any of your people. When you're controlling one character, like your main character for example, all the other ones run on an AI, which you can set specific commands to. The way that the AI commands you set up work is kind of like Final Fantasy XI's gambit system. Like you could set, for example, the first thing you could set is like enemy target of main character, and then the condition would be attack or to use an ability, something like that. Or you can set like any ally 50% health or less heal. So it's pretty customizable. But then again, you can also cut right in at any point, pause it, and give a specific command to one of your players. You can also set the game to level up your other players automatically, even your main character, and it'll choose all the abilities for you. Or, like me, you can go in anally and control every little facet of every character's development. This part here is an example of a boss fight. As you can see, the enemy's name is in red. There are 3 classifications of enemies. White, which is like your basic, weak, kill in a second enemy. Yellow, which is a little bit stronger. Kind of like I wouldn't say a mini boss, but kind of like a leader of an enemy party maybe. You'll see a lot of those early on. Like a Herlock Emissary, which is like a Darkspawn mage. And then there are also the reds, which are the ones that are really strong enemies that are really tough to take down compared to the others. I believe the first one of those that you come across is this giant ogre thing. It's a battle at the top of this tower in the Grey Warden place. Ostramar, I think is there. Or, I forget the name of the place. It's like Ostra something. But that's a pretty fucking cool fight because like the guy picks you up, throws you. I don't know if it happens all the time, but when I beat that boss, the Alistair character like freaking like jumped up onto him and like rammed a blade down his freaking throat. It was awesome. Sometimes when you're fighting enemies, you get like kills like finishing blows like that, which are kind of cool. Like you'll chop their head off and blood will spew out all over you. And if you keep persistent gore on, if you see a dialogue scene shortly after, which happens a lot, you'll be covered in blood all over, which is pretty funny. Anyways, this fight is a spider boss fight where it keeps like calling down its minions and like it jumps up. And it was a pretty good fight. I enjoyed it. Didn't really get much of a good loot from it, but whatever. Anyways, as you'll see, I win. And then, I put my shit away. And now, for the finale of the review, there's a nice cutscene for you to enjoy.